So I'll start by saying that this is not the kind of video I usually make. As guitar players, we are always on the lookout for that perfect tone, as if it really exists. This topic came up in a conversation with a friend, and names were flying in the air such as Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, David Gilmour, Slash, and many more. As a guitar player in a cover band and someone that likes to record and play cover songs, I decided to take action and really invest in reproducing that special tone of one of the guitar legends in that list, David Gilmour. For those of you who are not familiar with David Gilmour, he is the lead guitar player, songwriter, and singer of the iconic psychedelic rock band Pink Floyd. He joined the band in 1967 and has remained one of the most recognizable and influential members of the band since then. So I'm up for the challenge. I started exploring what gear David is using, his guitars and the stories behind them, the amps, the cabs and effects he's using in his recordings and live performances. In order to really capture his sound, I needed to make a small investment and put some effort to get as close as possible to the gear he uses. David mainly plays Fender Strat guitars. I thought that it would be interesting to modify one of my Fender guitars and install his EMG DG-20 active pickup system. Eventually, I got myself into a bigger project than I originally planned and rebuilt my Fender Squier. New bridge, new pickups, new pickguard, new nut, and a full plaque and setup. So here it is, a brand new David Gilmour Strat guitar. The next step was to find a similar amp and cab to match what he uses. I found out that in the majority of his recordings and shows, he's playing through a high-watt amp with a Yamaha rotary cab. The rotary gives that phasey, chorusy sound with a lot of sustain that brings each note to its maximum potential. I couldn't get my hands on a real high-watt amp and, of course, a rotary cab as well. So I decided to create a preset using my Fractal FM9 that will match that combo. Let me show you the preset I made. For those of you who are not interested in that, just forward the video. Okay, so let's go over the preset I made. The first scene is the DG Clean. I used it mainly for the clean guitars in my backing track you will be listening to shortly. Let's review each block in the preset. For the compressor, I selected the analog compressor, very gentle settings just to smooth things out. For the amp block, I'm using the high power Brilliant, which is the high watt equivalent David uses. For the cab, I'm using a 4x12 Brit cab, mic with a SM57, very classic rock. I added the rotary block to match the Yamaha rotary cab he uses. It is placed right after the cab for stereo output. You can also place it before the amp, like a rotary pedal, but then it will be mono output only. I'm also using the vintage digital delay block, blending it very light in the mix just to add a bit more ambient. Now let's look at the DG lead scene. It is very similar to the DG clean scene. I just added 2 drive blocks and bypassed the compressor. The first drive block is a mid boost, cranked all the way up. The second drive block is a shimmer drive, also cranked up all the way. All the other settings are pretty much default. Combined together, it will give that fat, smooth distortion sound for the guitar solo. That's it. I had everything. All that was left to do is to pick a guitar solo that will bring it all together. After going over their songs catalog, I decided to go with Comfortably Numb. Comfortably Numb is from Pink Floyd's album The Wall, released in 1979, and is one of the most successful albums of the band. The long outro part is probably the most recognizable Pink Floyd's guitar solos and even sometimes referred to as the best guitar solo ever made. So I'm leaving you with my cover, which concludes the exploration of that perfect tone. It was definitely very educational for me, and I learned a lot about guitar modifications and sound. I think the end result is pretty close, although listening to David's playing while learning the solo, I realized that his playing style and technique contributes so much to his tone, and this is something you cannot configure or build. If you made it that far in the video, tell me what is your interpretation of that perfect tone? How far did you go to sound like your guitar hero? Let me know in the comments. If you're interested in my Fractal FM9 preset, please like, subscribe, and message me on my Patreon page. I'll put the link in the description below. Again, thank you for watching, and enjoy the solo.